everybody. Welcome. If you take this moment to turn off your cell phones,
Good idea.
anything that makes noise, stuff like that, you know the drill. Welcome to Andy Babinski's A Christmas Carol.
Woo!
This is part of a fundraiser that we're doing for our trip to Russia. That Andy has put this show together that he's going to continue to do for the rest of his life. And he's sharing it with us and with elementary schools in the coming months. So we have a bucket back there that says donations. So if you have any spare change, you'd like to throw in $100 bills, we'll gladly accept it. So with that, here's Andy Babinski. Woo!
Marley was dead, to begin with. There is no doubt whatever about that. Scrooge knew he was dead, of course he did. Marley was dead. This must be distinctly understood. But nothing wonderful can come from the story I'm going to relate. Oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, Scrooge, a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, clutching, covetous old sinner. He carried his own low temperature always about with him. No warmth could warm him, no wintry weather chill him. Once upon a time, and all the days of the year on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy at his counting house. Scrooge had a very small fire, but his clerk's fire was so very much smaller that it looked like one coal. Wherefore the clerk tried to warm himself at the candle, in which effort, not being a man of strong imagination, he failed. Merry Christmas, Uncle! It was Scrooge's nephew. Bah, humbug. Christmas, a humbug, Uncle? You don't mean that. I do. Merry Christmas. What reason have you to be merry? You're poor enough. Come then. What reason have you to be dismal? You're rich enough. Ah, humbug. Merry Christmas. Out upon Merry Christmas. What's Christmas time to you but a time for paying bills with no money? If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. Uncle, nephew. You keep Christmas in your own way, and let me keep it in mine. Keep it, but you don't keep it. Let me leave it alone then. Much good may it do you. There are many things from which I might have derived good, by which I have not profited, I dare say. But I've always thought of Christmas time, apart from the veneration due its origin, if anything good can be apart from that, as a good time. A kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. The only time I know of when men and women seem to open their shut-up hearts freely, and to look on people below them as if they really were fellow passengers to the grave, and not another race of creatures bound on other journeys. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good, and will do me good, and I say, God bless it! The clerk involuntarily applauded. Let me hear another sound from you, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation. You're quite a powerful speaker, sir. Wonder you don't go into Parliament. Don't be cross, Uncle. Come, dine with us tomorrow. But why? Why? Why did you get married? Because I fell in love. Scrooge growled as if this is the only thing more ridiculous than a Merry Christmas. Good afternoon. Uncle, why cannot we be friends? Good afternoon. I am sorry with all my heart to find you so resolute. But I have made the trial in homage to Christmas, and I'll keep my Christmas humor to the last. So, a Merry Christmas, Uncle! Good afternoon. And a Happy New Year! Good afternoon! In letting Scrooge's nephew out, the clerk let two other people in. They were portly gentlemen, and they had books and papers in their hands, and they bowed to Scrooge.
At this festive season of the year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than usually desirable to make some slight provision for the poor and destitute. Many thousands are in want of common necessaries. Hundreds of thousands are in want of common comforts, sir.
Are there no prisons?
Plenty of prisons.
And the union workhouses, are they still in operation?
They are. I wish I could say they were not.
Oh. I was afraid from what you said at first that something had occurred to stop them in their useful course.
Under the impression that they scarcely furnish Christian cheer, a few of us are endeavoring to raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. What shall we put you down for?
Nothing.
You wish to be anonymous!
I wish to be left alone. I didn't make myself merry at Christmas, and I can't afford to make idle people merry. I help to support the establishments I mentioned. They cost enough, and those who are badly off must go there.
Many would rather die.
If they would rather die, they had better do it. Decrease the surplus population. Good afternoon, gentlemen. The gentlemen withdrew, and Scrooge returned to his labors with an improved opinion of himself. The owner of one scant young nose stooped down at Scrooge's keyhole to regale him with a Christmas carol. But at the first sounds of "God rest you, Mary," Scrooge seized the ruler with such energy that the singer fled in terror. At length, the hour for shutting up the counting house arrived.
You'll want all day tomorrow, I suppose?
If quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient, and it's not fair. When I pay a day's wages for no work.
It's only once a year, sir.
A poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. But I suppose you must have the whole day. Be here all the earlier the next morning.
The clerk promised he would, and Scrooge walked out with a growl. And the clerk went down a slide at Cornhill, at the end of a lane of boys 20 times in honor of its being Christmas Eve. Scrooge went home to bed. Having his key in the lock of the door, Scrooge saw in the knocker not a knocker, but Marley's face. It looked at him as Marley used to look, with ghostly spectacles turned up on his ghostly forehead. The hair was curiously stirred, as if by a breath of hot air. It was Knocker again. To say that Scrooge was not startled would be untrue. But he put his hand on the key, turned it steadily, and went in. He did look cautiously behind the door, as if he half expected the sight of Marley's pigtail sticking out into the hall. But there was nothing. So he closed it with a bang. The sound resounded through the house.